Welcome back to Theresa.is.Dead. My name is Theresa and I'm very much alive. And if you're new here, welcome. I have an awful garbage mouth, and if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is not the place for you. Feel free to exit out the video here. No harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. If you want to jump straight to the review of the product, I'll leave a time code down below. Feel free to jump ahead. Guys, what I'm about to share with you is a pretty fucked up story. Be prepared. So I'm on the train last week and it was fairly crowded, and I'm leaning up against the door playing Candy Crush, listening to music, living my best life, when two gentlemen get on the train, and they happen to be homeless guys. So they kept going up and down the cars, demanding people to give them money, like threatening them, the whole 9 yards. They finally get to where I'm standing at, and I guess they just look me up and down and realize that I don't have any money, rightfully so because I don't. One of the homeless guys asked me like,
"Do you know what time it is?"
So I said the time, and then he was like,
Oh, thank you. You know, you're very, very smart. You're very, very smart.
I nodded, I said thank you, and went back to playing Candy Crush. About 2 stops later, a seat actually opened up, so I went ahead and sat down. And now the two homeless guys were kind of like in front of me and kind of just like walking around, looking at new people that come in, demanding money, the whole 9 yards. The woman that was sitting next to me actually had 2 bags of groceries in her hand. So as she was getting off the next stop, one of the homeless guys stood right in her way and was like,
"Give me those bananas."
And the lady's like a tiny little older woman. She looked terrified, so she grabbed the bananas and was like shaking and gave him the bananas, and he like ripped them out of her hands, and she just like scurried off the train. And in my head I'm thinking, wow, this is really fucked up. Like, they're being really fucking aggressive and scary to fucking people. No wonder why nobody wants to give them anything. So another stop or two goes by. Now the train's starting to empty out, and there's actually nobody in my section with the exception of me and this other guy that's across from me. It looks like a construction worker, as well as the 2 homeless guys that are kind of not sitting but just like hanging and hovering around where I'm sitting. The construction guy gets up, and on his backpack he actually had a large bottle of water. So the other homeless guy, not the one with the bananas, started pounding on the wall and was like,
"Give me that water. Give me that water."
So the guy just went, whatever, and he just took the water and gave it to him. The guy snatched it out of his hand and he started drinking it. The guy gets off the train. Now where I'm sitting currently, now there's nobody on that side of the train. It's just me and the 2 homeless guys. Now they both decided to sit down across from me. Something told me to pause my music, so I paused my music. And this is what I hear.
So, how much did you make today? I don't know. I think probably about like $1.50, maybe 2. When I get to the car, I'm gonna check. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a light day today, huh? Yeah, I think so. But tomorrow's probably a better day.
Wait a second. What? All right, first of all, their accents that they initially had sounded gruff, scary. They actually sounded like they were really high. Like, they sounded really fucked up. So I'm sitting there like baffled, like, why are they talking like this? So the one homeless guy that took the water said to the guy who took the bananas,
"Why did you ask that lady's bananas?" "Oh, I saw she had a bag from Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's bananas are really good." "Well, you know, you don't know that lady. You don't know what she did to those bananas." "Yeah, I know, but it's worth a shot to have one. I'm kind of hungry right now. When I go home, I'll have dinner." "Oh, I'm about to get off the next stop. That's where I parked the car." "Where did you park again?" "Oh, I parked 2 stops ahead." "Yeah, I figured sometimes it's just easier to get parking there." "Oh, yeah, I know. We have to kind of figure out a better spot for parking." "Yeah, all right. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow, all right? Tell Linda I said hi."
So then the other guy across from me then takes out his fucking AirPods and his cell phone, puts his AirPods in, and then starts sticking around on his cell phone. You know, okay. So I got off the next stop. I was completely dumbfounded. A part of me really wanted to say something, being like, you know, you're a fucking piece of shit for doing that, because there are people out in the subway that actually really need fucking help, and you're just like a fucking dick. But also kudos to you for knowing how to fucking play the system, you piece of shit, because you're literally going home every night with tax-free money. How fucked up is that? Oh my god. It really sucks, because there are people in the subway that actually really need help, and then you have assholes like this that play the fucking system and win. Karma's a bitch though. It'll eventually catch up to them one day. Anyway, that was my day. How was yours? On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Tarte Foundcealer, which is this little guy right here. But before I give you my overall thoughts, let me read you a little bit about the product first. Babassu Foundcealer Skincare Foundation retails for $39. A vegan makeup and skincare hybrid that's an everyday foundation for achieving an ultra-comfortable, natural, radiant finish and custom coverage. Formulated with nourishing Babassu, essential fatty acids, and antioxidants, this blendable, customizable formula glides over your full face without cracking, caking, or settling. It helps hydrate and give the appearance of fuller, healthy-looking skin and let you live your day your way. So this guy actually is going to be coming out on March 21st, which is tomorrow. So if you are interested in picking this up, that's when you can purchase it. I believe you can get it through the Tarte website or Sephora if you feel so inclined. Now with that said, this guy retails for about $39, and it comes in about 30 shades with an array of undertones, whether it be peach, pink, yellow, olive, neutral, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I will say though that it is 30 shades. I would say it on more on the dismal side, so I'm really hoping that Tarte starts releasing more shades, because Well, you'll see why in a second. So you're probably asking yourself, well, Theresa, how the fuck did you get it? Well, good question, Susie. Sometime last week, Sephora had the option where you're able to get a free sample of this if you spend $25. Keep in mind that they didn't offer all the shades, but this was the closest one that actually matches to my skin tone, which is the shade 13N. And 13N, I believe, is for people with fair skin with neutral undertones. It's definitely more on the yellow side, I would say. And according to Sephora Shade Finder, I should have been 8B, which is porcelain beige, which is very fair skin with pink undertones. However, when applying to my skin, I realized that I think 13N is actually a pretty good match for me. Claims for this guy is supposed to be medium coverage with a radiant finish. I don't necessarily agree that it is a medium coverage. I like to think that it's more on the light side. However, it's light to medium, which means that you can wear it very light or you can have a medium build. And the finish for this guy is radiant, which I have to say I agree with. Now, granted, I know I look extra radiant today, only because I have the Glossier Play highlighter on, which basically makes me look like a wet, hot alien slut. But other than that, I would say that I actually have like a nice, healthy glow today. So I've been wearing this foundation for a week now, and I have to say that I am fucking obsessed with this shit. I love it so fucking much. This is probably one of the best foundations I've ever tried. I know, it's a really heavy claim, but bitch, I'm gonna leave it there because it is. I have never experienced so much joy in a foundation in my life, and there's a lot of holy grail status foundations that I have, or at least in my eyes. But here to me was actually the true test. Normally, by the end of the day, I usually have some sort of like, you know, ghost cakiness, I like to call it, right on my nose and on like the cheek area. I basically motorboat some cookies. And I kind of have like, you know, like that dry aged cracking sort of look right over here. And I find that usually the longer that I have the foundation on, the more apparent that it gets. And usually that was weird. Ghost. Fuck. God damn it, Ghost. You're fucking my shit up here. Alright. So normally by the end of the day, even with the foundation that I love, I usually kind of have some sort of cookiness over here. This foundation, every day that I wore it, and I come home after 12, 13, 14 hours of wear, it still looks good. And I don't know what fucking witchcraft voodoo they have in this shit, but I want it, and I need it, and I love it. I've tried it with an array of different primers, from Tatcha Silk Canvas to the e.l.f. dupe, Dr. Brandt Illuminizer, Catrice Prime and Glow, Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter or whatever. I also combine different primers, and I had the same result every fucking time. And it's amazing. And I don't understand. This thing does not oxidize on me in any way. I still look good from the fucking first time I put it on at 6 o'clock in the morning to literally 8 o'clock at night. It fucking looks good. And it pisses me off how much I like it. Because I'm so used to like not having a good experience with Tarte that it's actually just become a common thing on this channel. But I think my luck has finally fucking turned around because they released this foundation. And I'm kind of like scratching my head a little bit because I don't know why they wouldn't take this foundation formula and make it the fucking face tape one. But it makes sense since Shape Tape is dry, shitty mess. Face tape would be the same. Okay, never mind. I answered my own question with that one. This foundation's incredibly lightweight. I found that when applying with a brush and a sponge, I actually really liked it more with the sponge. The brush looked fine, except it did have some brush strokes that I didn't really like. I kept going over the brush side with a sponge, so ultimately I just figured, you know, this is a foundation that's really kind of only strictly good with sponges. It's definitely a very creamy product. It's not runny at all, and I would have to say that it's comfortable. I feel like I don't have a lot of product on my face. I have used this product with setting powder. I've used it without setting powder. I find that I actually like it with like a small dusting of powder because I feel like when you start adding a lot of powders, it just starts to become matte and then loses the kind of beautifulness of this foundation. So I think if you were to purchase this or whatever, go in with a very, very light hand to like set it. Don't go too crazy because I look like a glowy sex alien goddess and I fucking love it. It's so good. Of course the Glossier helps, but whatever. That's besides the point. Anyway, this foundation is fucking top notch. I really don't have any bad things to say about it. Nothing at all. I don't. The other claims that this foundation makes is that it's not caking, there's no cracking, and I completely agree with that. Okay, so we're gonna zoom you right in here to kind of show you. You can see like I have like a nice like radiant glow. The one claim that it does have is that it doesn't settle into lines, and I feel like it doesn't settle into lines. Like yes, you can see lines a little bit more visible, but I think it's just because this is more of a light to medium coverage. Had it been full coverage, I believe all that shit would be covered up. But again, I don't mind seeing my stress lines, or as I call them, my student loan lines. I don't mind them at all. But see, like I love how it looks on my nose in this area. It just looks so smooth and nice. And I've actually been wearing this foundation pretty much all day. I actually went to the dentist today. The other thing I do want to mention too is that I did use quite a few pumps of this only because I don't think this is a traditionally like a full pump because this is like a sample size. So for me, I felt like I had to use a lot of product because I wasn't getting a lot of it out of like the little dispenser. So I can't really comment if a little bit goes a long way because it's really kind of hard to tell when you have a fucking tester. When it comes out on Thursday, I really look forward to purchasing a big bottle of this because I am so fucking excited. Finally, for me, Tarte did something right. Kudos, Tarte. I don't hate you. I love you. I want to have your babies. Thank you. Now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this Foundcealer? Are you into it? Are you over it? I don't know. Do you not give a fuck about Tarte? Let me know down below because I'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, I guess that's about it. On that note, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, out in the streets, out in life, in the subway, whatever. And I'll see you little pumpkins later.